Hello everyone, I am Yive once again to talk Australian Survivor 2017. And gotta say what episode number it is. It's episode 7. Welcome to the recap show. My name is Evan. This is the recap show. So once again, I'm the owner today, which I know it's great social game. Come on, guys. Can't be talking about how they have bad social games when I have a bad social game. Anyways, jokes aside, though, yeah. So to start this episode, I mean, pretty decent episode. I feel like this is what I say every time. It's like, yeah, it's a pretty decent episode. I mean, it's Survivor, so obviously I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I think it's a good episode. Or most of the time. I don't. We'll see about next episode. Next episode, there's a twist that I'm not really a fan of, and I'm sure I'll have a lot to say about it. But anyways, so essentially we start this episode with Jonathan's lack of experience of being able to recap a Survivor episode, and that's no shade to Jonathan. He's gotten way better nowadays, like with the more recent seasons. But back then, he did not know how to recap a season at all. It was very cringe to him. Say stuff like Sam had problems out on in the water. But she had even more problems on Dry the End. Like, yeah, that was funny, but also what are you saying? Like, I don't like unbelievably cringe, whatever. I also think Jonathan just doesn't really know what to say half the time, so it's kind of just like, or at least in the early seasons, but that's like a character growth, so I'm not gonna blame him too much for that. Anyways, ignoring the background because my name is just has a vacuum, not vacuum, Jesus, you're more. Jesus. Anyways, uneducated, I know, guys. Okay, so point is, yeah, so we go back to the Thunder Beach after Tribal Council. Marcus Best, rightfully so, because his entire tribe after him and his alliance backstabbed him. And I still don't understand this move strategically by Henry or Jackie or even Sarah. Yeah, but whatever, we're just gonna pretend like it doesn't that it makes sense. That to vote off your allies when they're clearly with you and have no reason to turn on you because they're a power couple, you want to break them up. Whatever. Obviously there could have been some more stuff going behind the scenes, and I thought Jackie and Henry more so than I thought Sarah, as Sarah was probably just trying to go with the majority, as she is a super fan and trying to not to make waves. So I don't fault Sarah at all for that. So we continue on, and Mark and Kent have a conversation where Kent does a horrible job covering his intentions, saying things like, "I don't think anyone would be happy to vote off the grunt." Which, what the fuck does that mean? I genuinely have no idea what that means. And like, if someone said that to me, I would be completely just like, that sounds like utter bullshit. He also paused when he was saying it, which, like, if you're gonna say it, don't be going over the water well, like, looking away from him when you say it. That is so sketchy. Like, and it was trying to make Mark seem like he was really smart by knowing that Jackie and Henry and Kent were involved. Yeah, obviously they were involved. Are you fucking kidding me? But whatever. I understand it's a TV show, so they're trying to edit it a certain way to tell a storyline, but it's kind of just like, ugh. Anyways, and we also will find out if that has if like them doing this has made them a target. Guess we'll find out the ramifications of that going forward. Obviously, I know because I've seen the season, but whatever. Uh, anyways, so yeah, he also said Kent basically has the right intentions, trying to cover who he's close with, but the problem is due to the awkwardness and just him blabbing his mouth. Because when we are in situations where it's awkward, we overspeak and we say certain things we shouldn't, and that's what we saw from Kent here, where he ended up yamming his mouth in front of Mark, and Mark is just like, well, Sam's gone, I'm trying to help, I'm trying to get revenge, I'm trying to get off the bottom, which I think Mark cares way too much about trying to get revenge this episode. It's not about getting revenge. I get it. Revenge is definitely one of those things where we all crave it, right? We all have people who we're like anti. But I genuinely think that if I'm Mark, instead of being trying to worry about getting revenge, I'd just be trying to get off the bottom. But obviously, Mark isn't me, so Mark hasn't seen the show, or if he has seen the show when he was in this season, he didn't really. Obviously, he's not going to know exactly what to do. But, anyways, regardless, we continue on, and Henry and Jackie celebrate getting Sam out and want Mark next. Yeah, obviously they want to get rid of Mark. I mean, why wouldn't they want to get rid of Mark? At that point, you've already thrown the alliance in the sand. Your alliance is gone. It's dissolved, dismantled, whatever word you'll fancy. It's dead. Point is. Jackie brings up the point that she doesn't want everyone to see her and Henry as the Mark and Sam, which, yes, thank you. It's good that you're thinking about that. But I'm also confused why you didn't bring that up to begin with, considering like that's literally the first thing I'd be thinking about. With a second, if you even considered making this move to begin with to get rid of Samuel Mark. But whatever. Like I'm gonna have hundreds of questions I'm just not gonna know the answers to. So hopefully one day I'll be able to interview the players and get to know Austin personally, but for now, guess that won't be what this is. So, yeah, essentially, I just don't want. Well, really, Henrik. Okay, not even what I want. I just want people to make smart decisions. That's why I watch this show. So hopefully they make smart decisions. Going forward, we'll see if they get targeted or not. Guess we'll find out. Henry explains more of his reasoning for wanting Mark gone because he's 1000% the better version of him. And that's what he said in his own words. Which, as you'll know, I personally think is a terrible decision for him, but what are you going to do? He also mentions how Mark would beat him in the end. For the record, this is pre-merge. Stop focusing on who you can beat in the end. We haven't even gotten to a tribe swap yet. And you're fucking focused on like I don't understand. I don't get it. For it management wise, he's gonna get fucking thrown under the bus, which we ended up seeing in this episode from Mark, but whatever. But I guess it's relevant because Mark is loyal or was loyal and is now working to get off the bottom. And yeah, I could go on a whole tangent about this, but that's not what this thing is about. But yeah, definitely not a smart decision here. We continue on, and we're taking back to we're taking back to Summer Cow, where Ziggy gets a confessional discussing how Yoki, Tara, and Annalise are on the bottom, and other outsiders outside the five-person alliance of AK, Jared, Ziggy, Tessa, and Peter. And the outsiders are trying to form a new group against AK, which, I mean, sure. They also, Yoki and Tara have a funny conversation. Wait, no, I'll get to that in a second. Ziggy also discusses how AK is going to have to go at some point if she thinks she will use against him. There's a young way to go. I don't know why people are so focused on who they can beat right now. I would just be focused on getting in an alliance who I can trust and building my numbers for the eventual swap that's to come and then the merge. But what are you going to do? Ziggy, well, Tara and Yoki ask Ziggy why she's following AK, and I think this is probably the least productive way you can get someone on your side. Telling them that they need to flip and they're playing to use is just like the fuck. Like that's not how you get people on your side. But I mean, it was funny at least. It was entertaining. I think another thing to talk about is like, I mean, look, I get it's a story and they're trying to tell an episode, but like, what is this? Like, they like if I'm on the bottom, I'm not gonna be pitching about how someone is playing to use. Like that's not gonna. I mean, especially well. Here's the thing: you can make that pick. I just think the problem is if you make that pick, like what day 15, whatever day it is on the eye end for them, it doesn't really affect. Like it wouldn't. Like if I was them, if I was Ziggy and they come up to me and were like, "He's a threat, he's sketchy," I'd be like, okay, but he's loyal to me and he doesn't have many options, so he's gonna. It's fine. But whatever. We continue on, and Yoki catches a shark with a machete, and my instant reaction to seeing this was like, congratulations, you're only putting a bigger target on yourself. Because you're the perfect golden boy. But I guess it's brownie points, I guess. I'm not really sure the goal. Like, being the providers definitely know what you want to be out there. Like, tending the fire is fine, again, firewood is fine. But I think when it comes to, like, getting, like, actual food, I think that's just gonna put a target on your back. And who the fuck catches a shark with a machete? What the fuck? You're like, um, first of all, I'm a pussy, I would not. Um, second, what? I feel like I don't know. I just like, do they not have anything better to show on Summertown? So they're just showing Miyoki being, I don't know, a bro. Like I'm not, I'm confused. But whatever. Sure, we can give Miyoki some screen time. We continue on, and I you get. I mean, we go back to a summer camp, and you get to confessional saying how it's obvious Henry and Jackie are running the show and how he wants to bring them down before they have too much power and he can't do anything about it. Which, I mean, I get it, but as we've seen in the past, Yuka's a used cannon, which kind of goes rogue. Which, well, he goes rogue essentially. Whether or not it's his intentions, I mean, whatever his intentions are, it's just not good for his game. Probably, but I mean, hey, you're smoking TVs. So. Even though I'm definitely gonna go on a rant about Yuke another time because like I have a lot of controversial opinions when it comes to Yuke as a player. Anyways, we continue on, and Yuke wants to keep Mark around and pull him in to break up Henry and Jackie. Yeah, okay. I mean, if you think they're running the show, I guess. You suggest pulling Sarah and Michelle since they're together, or at least from Yuke's perspective, he's telling this to Mark. He's done a good job trying to hide his relationship with Jericho here, as he's not mentioning him. Even though, I mean, it's probably pretty obvious, so I'm a bit confused why. Like, I'm not saying that you should tell people who your alliances are. However, I do think that to a certain extent, it is going to be somewhat obvious who you are close with. So maybe just be transparent. Like, I'm not saying say that you and Jericho are like, I don't know, the fucking top two or whatever, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't, or at least that's my perspective at least. Because, like, otherwise it's just going to come across sketchy if it's like, oh, they're super tight, but they're not telling anyone they're super tight, so they're clearly just lying. Like, you can bend the truth a little bit, but whatever. So we continue on, and he also mentions bringing Odette. So that's cool. When both tribes are standing around on their mats, we get ready to compete for the immunity challenge. Aaron, or AK, Yoki announces that Yoki caught a shark with a machete in front of everyone, which, if I was Yoki, I'd be like, why are you trying to put a target on my back? What the fuck? Like, that literally only puts a target on Yoki's back, or at least from my perspective. Obviously, whether or not that actually is how Yoki views it, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. But I was, like, if I was Yoki, I would have been like, that's sketchy as fuck. I know it. And I probably would have called him out too. I at that point, I would have just been like, oh, I'm on the bottom. I would have said it in front of everyone. I would have just been like, well, since I'm probably going next anyways, and whatever. here's the dynamics on our tribe and who's running the show in front of you during the entire game. I mean, look, maybe that's not a good way of building relationships, but it's still to be entertaining. Um, there's sorry guys, I'm going on this rant where there's a weird part of me where it's like one part of me is like, oh yeah, talk about what's in their best interest, and then one part of me is like, let's do what's hypothetically the most entertaining thing since the TV show. But I have to try and keep two of them separate because otherwise I'm gonna go on a fucking 3 hour tangent. But anyways, so we continue on and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Anyways, the mini challenge is first. Well, not first, Jesus Christ. The mini challenge is first tribe to win 7 matches, and sumo wrestling wins immunity with punching bags to knock each other off. Like the ones you see at kid places. Yeah. I like this challenge, but I also don't care if the challenge is too physical, as some people are just naturally weaker. So strategies such as holding or kneeling the bags won't help you if someone's double your size essentially. At least that was what I thought, envisioned. Yeah, at least that's what my opinion was on it. Which, by the way, Jared and Mark's match was hilarious. Like, poor Jared. Like, Jesus. But he put up one hell of a fight, so, I mean, that's something. No. Oh, that is giving Trixie from the End Before Time. I don't know why that's in my notes, but it is, because, it is. I don't know why. I don't know why, but she is. Whatever. So Summertown wins immediately 7-6, 1 point difference. So that's great. I mean, it makes the TV show more entertaining, or the episode more entertaining. I'm personally happy Asongayos began, as we get to see more of them and understand the dynamics. Because I feel like Summertown, we know a lot about their shit, you know. After Asonga uses immunity, Henry talks about him, Jackie, and Kent being a trio, and Jackie obviously being a duo with him within that, but since they both know about the idol, and also probably because they're just general closer. He believes Odette is in with him, and Jericho will prop side with him, even though they haven't aligned, or at least he says this from his perspective, which is weird considering how Jericho is close to you and you wants Henry Korn. And it's even stranger considering if we all remember a few episodes ago, Jericho chose to share a bunch of fucking cookies with Henry. So I guess he just did a really shit job at maintaining his relationship. I'm not really sure. Um like I'm not really sure. Like, and I don't want to say Henry did a shit job at maintaining his relationship with Jericho. But like the way he said it, it definitely makes me be like, I don't like you had an in with him and then you kind of just threw it away for fun. Like, okay, probably not great, but what are you gonna do? We continue on and yeah. Oh yeah, we have Ben. He says he has Ben in his back pocket. And Henry says Sarah said yesterday she wanted to go like pretty far with him or near the end, which I mean obviously she's gonna say that. She's a super fan, but he doesn't know that. Luke wants to pull a 6-4 vote with everyone on the Sunger outside of Henry, Jackie, Ken, and Ben to be honest. Jackie, yeah, this episode definitely comes across very skittish. Like I would like if I was out there and you came up to me with this plan and it was just because they're a power couple, I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna need a better reason to vote someone out than that. Like I think a lot of people's reasonings, whether it's this season or just Survivor in general, don't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But I mean, what do you? Oh wow, my head looks awful. Just the people on the island. Anyways, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but what are you gonna do? I mean, it's Survivor. Yeah. So we do see a scene where Sarah goes up to Jackie and Henry and is basically like, "Guys, just so you know, I'm with you guys. I'm with you guys. I'm with you guys." And yeah, that's cool. I think relationship wise, Sarah's doing a good job at maintaining the fielding strategy. But I mean, it's really hard to tell who's playing a good game because I mean, we're so early into the season, which is funny because we're almost 1/3 of the way through the season, but like, it's how it goes. Which is funny because like I was rewatching Times vs Rebels the other day, and I realized that like that's only like a few months worth of actual content, so it's a bit interesting. Because like so many episodes come out back to back to back to back to back, and you're like, wow, it's such a long season. But if you actually binge it, it really isn't that long. And it's the same with this one as well. Um, we continue on, and I think for me, oh well, we can talk about the tribal council. Let's just talk about the tribal council. Tribal council was Mark fucking just goes ballistic, which is funny. But before we talk about the tribal council, I really love Ben shitting on Nuke. Yeah. like I don't have anything against Nuke, but I do think it is kind of funny how like Ben was like, yeah, so Nuke's gonna dig himself a hole, probably sooner rather than later. Which like, yes, I agree. What is he doing? Jesus Christ. Nuke is just burning bridges left and right and trying to start civil war. Um Positioning wise, is this the right move for you? I have no idea. I don't know what uh, Henry and Jackie consider based on you, but based on what they're saying, he does seem to be near the bottom of their pecking order. If he's even on their pecking order, which I don't think he is. So he could call this a good move, but I think it's really up for debate here. Um, like even now, I would have to sit down for like 3 hours and analyze if it was a good decision that he wants, that Henry wants, not Henry, that Luke wants Henry and Jackie to be broken up and to go. Because from a surface level, it's like, yeah, it is in like the tribe's best interest and Luke's best interest, so he can be the only one in the duo with Jericho, or at least that's what the perception is from the episode. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, because this we have only a limited amount of information we are given compared to what is actually happening out there on the island. So it's a mix. Anyway, but we're only going to talk about the episode because I don't want to confuse anyone watching this. But anyways, yeah, so our tribal council, Mark, just kind of goes. I don't want to say it goes off the rails because, like, everything he said was the okay true. Mark basically goes on a massive tangent, calling out Henry and Jackie, calling them a power duo, talking about how they're going to run the game and whatever else. And, like, yeah, I mean, that's good. I mean, it's good that he's aware enough to know who's after him. I think the problem is, I just I think he. I mean, look, maybe he did something differently before this that they just didn't air. But I mean, if you're gonna call them out at that point, you might as well have just called them out from even earlier. Like the younger you have it in people's minds, these two are running the show. These two, like I would literally just go in front of the entire crowd and say, "We had this alliance with me, Jackie, Henry, Sam, Sarah." Or don't even throw Sarah under the bus. Maybe even cover for Sarah and be like, I didn't mention your name because I wanted to still work with you. You know, there were ways around it that Mark could have done damage control while also pinning a target on Henry and Jackie. But what are you gonna do? Obviously, when you're out there in that mindset mentally, he's probably thinking about a lot of other shit, right? Right. So he's got food, he's got dehydration, he's got sleep problems. He's probably really tired at this point. Yeah, just, the survival elements, the mental stress, the game, so the paranoia, all of that crap. But I mean, he knows he's on the bottom, so there's nothing for him to really stress about at this point. His game can only go up, or at least that's my perspective. I would have hoped he looked for an idol. I mean, maybe he did look for an idol and they just didn't show it. But I mean, I would have at least like to have seen him pretend to look for an idol. I say pretend, but really look for an idol because I think it would have been more entertaining, and it would have been like one of those things where it's like, is he going to play the idol? I'm also a little bit confused by Jericho's response at Tribal Council, where Jericho was talking about how um, I'm people need to vote off liabilities in the tribe, and I was like, that can be taken 10 different ways. Like, that isn't, like, for me, that isn't, like, I need Jericho to elaborate on that. Because, like, oh, because, like, and then we go into the vote after Jackie and Henry go back and forth with Mark for a little bit, which, like, yes, I love the conflict. Bring it. The more we get on Survivor, more call outs, the better TV. Is it good for people's games to call someone out on Survivor? No, probably not. I mean, most of the time it tends to backfire on the person who's calling them out, or it just doesn't really make a difference. Yeah, they can't, and that's what we saw in this episode, right? Mark called them Jackie and Henry out, and then ended up getting shot anyways. So it was like, well, he died. So I mean that sucks. But whatever. I think another thing to talk about is like I'm just the vote count was just really confusing to me. Like Jericho and Duke voted with Mark, so it was a 7-3 vote. And for Jericho to talk about being tribe unity, when he said that he wanted tribe unity, voting up someone who like breaking up a 10 who have voted to or a 9 who have voted together, Yash Tribal Council, and there's one outsider. I mean, look, most of the time you should just vote off that outsider because then if they are wanting to stay 9 strong, right? If they are wanting to stay 9 strong, if they claim they are to beat Summertown, then I mean, look, they should vote together and try to cause this dysfunction to tribe as possible. So that was kind of frustrating for me to hear from Jericho's perspective, but obviously, I'd have to ask Jericho about that. But anyways, I think overall, I mean, look, Mark did put up somewhat of a good fight. I think the problem with Mark here is like, I mean, spoilers for anyone watching, so spoiler now or dip out now. Okay, spoiler, I'm gonna say it now. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, so Mark ended up coming back in a future season. So I think, I mean, doesn't really make much of a difference, I guess. But whatever. Yeah, I think overall I really did like this episode. I did feel like it was a bit predictable. However, I mean, I think sometimes when you have a predictable, not vote, but like tribal, there's no way for the editors to actually make it interesting. Like, I know watching it at the time when it aired and the time after, like rewatching it, obviously, that it wasn't gonna, this plan to blindside 4 people wasn't gonna happen, especially from Nuke, who clearly has no social pull whatsoever. Um, I think Jericho and Nuke voted with Mark as like a petty thing. I don't believe they thought the votes were there. I mean, they would have been told beforehand. So I think it was kind of just like a Hail Mary. It's like, in case Mark's lying to us and he has an idol, let's make sure it's not us. Which, I mean, what are you going to do? I'm personally not a fan of like sympathy votes. But if they're going to throw their votes and what, like Jericho and No, not Henry. If Jericho and you gonna throw their votes away for uh just in case of an idol, cool. Yeah, I don't know. I think overall it's just I mean, you can, it amounted to nothing. I think there are some really fun dynamics we have here, though, going into next episode. And I know what happens, which is just, oh, damn, can't believe it. But I think there are some really fun dynamics here, you know. Mark and Sam are gone. Asuna, you're not really sure what the power structure is. Everyone's trying to say it's Henry, Jackie, and Kent, but is it really? I don't know. On some account, AK seems to be in control, but is he actually in control? I don't know. Like the trio of Ziggy, Jared, and AK seem to be in control, but who knows? Find out next time on Total. No, I'm joking. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I will be live tomorrow to talk about episode 8. Peace out. If it ends.